Right, your audio's coming through. Let's put my mic on and put your one on now, and then I'll start in 10 seconds. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to WOR Season 14, Tier number 4 here tonight. And we're at the fantastic Brazilian Grand Prix, Sao Paulo, for the first round of the championship. My name is Oliver, and I will be one of two commentators you have this evening. And luckily for me, and yourselves, of course, I've got someone next to me in the commentary box. It is Greenhorn. How are you doing tonight, mate?
Hello everyone, I'm here. I'm happy to be back for another season of World Online Racing, and let's hope it's another good season.
Hopefully so. But for those who are watching, if you could please let me know if all the audio is coming through okay, and hopefully it is. But please let me know if there's any issues during the stream, and I can have a fix at those during the stream. Hopefully during qualifying as well. And it's nice to see that Gareth is watching as well from Tier 1. So nice. Okay, we've got some. I'll turn you up as well, Greenhorn, while we're at it, so I can hear you as well. But Greenhorn, obviously, we're here at Brazil. I mean, it's a super circuit, isn't it? We've had so much history at this circuit in the past. I mean, talk us through maybe your memories of the circuit.
It's a fantastic track to watch. I mean, every single time, there's never ever been a bad Brazilian Grand Prix. Championships have been won around Brazil. We've seen it before, like last year where we seen Max Verstappen almost take the win, but it was George Russell that took it right at the end. It was a nice way to see the Merc driver take that first win for the team last season in the real F1 season. Obviously, we've seen a few WR champions be crowned around Brazil as well. It's been a good season ender multiple times in multiple places, but I'm sure this race here will be even better.
Yeah, hopefully so. It's a cracker of a start, isn't it, Brazil? It's one of those iconic tracks, like you mentioned. So much history at this circuit. We've got a couple of times on the board here already in qualifying. But, Greenhorn, if we run down the drivers quickly before we get going in this session. Obviously, new season. We've got a few new drivers who've appeared in this tier. So if we get the Discord up, we can quickly have a run through who we've got this evening. A couple of guys aren't available this evening, so we'll try and keep up to date as we can. But here we go. So this evening, you've got Carperson and Fury in the Mercedes cars, with Dan and Heynen in the Red Bulls, Mitsui and another Dan in the Ferrari. Hopefully we don't get confused as the stream goes on. In McLaren, we've got Jacob and Itzvan. Alpine is Martins and Adam. AlphaTauri, Amazed and Evil. Aston Martin is Chelsea Fan and Justin. Williams is Line Violet and Elite. Alpha is LGS and Gabor, and Pepper Gamer and Silas round off the guys in the Haas cars. I mean, looking at those names, Greenhorn, who stands out for you in this tier?
It's a mixed tier. So we've got a couple of good PS drivers, a couple of good Xbox drivers. Obviously, top in the session right now, Carperson, I think, has got to be one to watch this season. He's a man who's actually on the current WR eSport roster. He's not there for no reason. They've obviously signed him knowing how good he is around certain tracks on this game. I also think, though, that another driver could be watched is Jacob E66, the man in the McLaren about to enter that right now. I think he is one that you look at and think he's got some real pace about him. We also see, though, Gabor jump to the top of the session. I was going to say him. He is also another driver who's recently just turned to no assists, I believe. So he's the one to watch for the rest of the season. But as the season goes on, I'm sure there's going to be some standouts for the championship.
Yeah, hopefully so. We've got a long old season. I'll quickly get that overlay up if I can on screen so we can see. We obviously, like I said, Brazil for the first round. That doesn't want to show on screen, unfortunately, for one reason or another, because I've put it the wrong one. There we go. So we start off in Brazil, like we've mentioned, then we're over to the United States, Azerbaijan, Belgium, Hungary, Portugal, France, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Abu Dhabi, Imola, China, Britain, and finishing off in Austria. We got 2 sprint races this season in Azerbaijan and Saudi Arabia, so that double header for those Grand Prix. So look, a fantastic season over the next 3-4 months. We all look forward to that. But already, Greenhorn, we're 12 minutes into qualifying. It's flown by already. Obviously done a lot of talking already. It's Gabor on pole position, well, provisional pole with a 7.6. But looks to me, like you mentioned, the man you mentioned earlier, Jacob, crosses the line and goes up to P3, just behind his teammate there. And he's only, well, it's a matter of, what's that, hundredths between himself and his teammate in second and third.
Yeah, no, good start from the McLaren, so getting it off early, making that early mark for the start with Gabor, obviously pretty clear there, half a tenth clear from anyone behind him. We've also got Elite Risks, who's just going to be going around the track currently, but we've got some people at the back here, just on some laps. That's Danko Satila, about to cross the line to complete his first flying lap of the session. He's going to jump up into P10. That is actually not that bad of a lap. I can see a fast pull time here, but obviously as the track develops, the grip will get better and we'll see some faster times come in.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. He's trying to get on board with someone on a lap time as well. Let's see, Evil's on an out lap. See if we can get someone on a flying lap. Sills has just come in. Sill has come to the end of his lap. What about Adam? Adam looks to be on a lap. So he comes around this long, elongated left-hander up the hill. DRS will be enabled shortly as he comes across the line. 1-0. Well, he's not done a lap just yet, but he crossed the line in the Alpine car. Jumped up to P17, so a little bit more work to do at the moment, but it shows how competitive this split is, Greenhorn, by the fact that currently was that first down to 17th, the split by only 0.8 of a second.
Yeah, it was always going to be a close tier. I mean, it's one of those tiers that there's not really easy to pick a winner every single week, but we'll see here there's a couple of drivers that are going to be just trying to set themselves up for a lap and also get going again for another flying lap. Obviously Gabor still on top of the session. I still think Car Person is one to be watched in this session. He's going to be starting his lap up very soon, but as the session moves on we'll be able to see people fully come into the groove of it. Obviously early on the bankers may have not been in to the best of their abilities, so I'm sure once this session improves it's going to be a lot better for them.
Yeah, hopefully. So just double checking our stream. It looks to be all good. Here just a little bit freezing on my screen, so we're all good. Yeah, we've got a yellow flag. There's just a couple of drivers going slow in the background, it looks like. But no one be able to touch our quali leader at the moment in Gabor with a 107.650. Just in 10 minutes left of the session. I mean, Greenhorn, you're a little bit more experienced when it comes to league racing than I am. Looking at the track here as Evil goes pole by just under 1/10 of a second there. Great lap from him. It looks to be one of our PlayStation guys here. Obviously, for those who don't know, this is a mixed console tier, so we've got Xbox and PlayStation drivers tuning in this evening. But going back to my point, Greenhorn, where are we looking on this circuit for the main overtaking opportunities? Obviously, DRS zones, you could argue maybe turn 1, but maybe where else on circuit could we see some overtakes this evening?
Yeah, no, it's a difficult track, Brazil, obviously. You've got that first sector that is practically all straights, other than the Senna S at turn 1 and turn 2. But after you flip round that long left-hander, you've got the DRS to try and get by towards turn 4, the Cida del Lago. So it's all about that straight line speed to go for the overtake as well, though. Also, coming out of turn 12, that is also at the end of the last sector, you will see that you've got that DRS all the way along that long left-hander heading towards turn 1. So there's a lot of overtaking opportunities here. But it's just going to be a matter of, do they have the straight line speed to get by at that moment?
Yeah, exactly. And there's so many variables that come into it when trying to come through a couple of corners and trying to get into the slipstream and try and make a move down the inside. Back markers could be involved. We could have even have rain. We've seen plenty of rain at this circuit in the past. Safety cars as well could play a big part in this Grand Prix. So we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out in about 10 minutes time, I reckon. 8 minutes left of the session. Still Evil on pole with, like I said, a 107.5, just pipping Gabor in second. Just on board with Dan, the Ferrari man. 2 guys get to do lap times at the moment here in qualifying. Just on board with him as he comes through the middle sector. Another overtaking opportunity through there if you can wiggle your car through what's that? That would be I believe that would be turn 10. Unfortunately, he's made a spin coming through turn 11. Looks like he put a wheel on the grass, and that is him round here. Just it's going to spoil his lap. So hopefully you can put a new set of tyres on that car and get going once again. I mean, do you think we could see? I mean, I might be just a bit too what's the word? Too adventurous maybe, Greenhorn. But 106 is maybe a bit too much of a push. We're staying in the 107s.
I could see. I think the drivers have got the ability to, but it's just a case of can they hook the lap up to get into that 106 range. Obviously, we've seen it a few tiers already that the 106s has been doable, but I think a low 0.7, is probably the benchmark. I think will be for these drivers. Also, they've all got the quality to really go for a low 0.7. So it's just going to be a matter of who can hook up the lap best and who's going to be able to, maybe benefit from a little bit of a slipstream working as a team.
Yeah, we've not seen too much of it, and we might see it later on in the year, maybe at Baku. But it's on board with Silas. He comes through to end Sector 2 quickest in the middle sector. So we've not had a chance to see the Haasman yet. Becomes round 13 and 14. DRS will be enabled. He'll try and glue himself to the inside of the pit lane without going into the pit lane, almost touching the wall there. He crosses the line up to P5 for the second Haas car. His teammate down in 8th place, Pepe Gamer. So both the Haas's within the top 10 here. Do you think, obviously still early doors with regard to the championship and everybody has new teammates, Greenhorn. Do you think we could see team orders and team the guys working together during the race as well?
I think for the beneficial of, if it benefits them both, I can see them, kind of helping each other out, maybe DRS streaming off each other. But at this point in the season, team orders, it just seems a bit unlikely. Just for the sake of, it's too early on. No points have been scored. Everyone is gunning for as many points as they can at the start of the season to get a good start to the championship, especially in a track that is usually beneficial when you start on pole. So you never know what's going to happen. But then you never know. We could see some people working together a bit more than others. Yes, Fantomasi jumped to the top of the session for the McLaren. Those two look like the strongest teams so far, has to be said. A first and third for Jacob E and also Isfan. So maybe those two could work together, and maybe Jacob could go for it on the start to get past these two ahead of him and just kind of see if he can keep up with Isfan and they can break away from the pack.
Yeah, it's fun. For those who were tuned in last season, season 13, I commented on quite a few times, and it was a fantastic qualifier, and he was very much up there during the racing or the early doors of a race, but unfortunately he couldn't, not every time, but there's a lot of times unfortunately he DNF'd. So hopefully there's a new slate this season, and we'll hopefully see him finishing on the podium a lot more this season. Definitely a contender for the championship. But again, Greenhorn, it's still early days and it's very difficult. We could see some gems appear amongst the rough through the season. Obviously a long all season still to go here, but a few invalidations actually. But track's going a little bit quiet at the moment. Just wait. I think everyone's done their bank lap, you could say, Greenhorn, and then they're going to go for a final flurry with about 4 minutes after the session.
Yeah, so this is it's called the boring part of quality. Everyone's in the pits running the clock down, trying to wait for that time to go low as they possibly can to get out and get the best ability of the track. There's a couple of people on laps currently though. We've got LCR, Line Violet and Chelsea Fan. Obviously Chelsea Fan's actually invalidated his lap, but those are a couple of people that actually have barely got any good laps in yet. Those are people that are trying to improve and jump up that leaderboard a bit more, I'd hope. So obviously we've currently got S-Fan still on pole with a 7.5. So I actually want to ask you, Oliver, what do you think the pole time can be here?
I think we could get into the 107.4s potentially. They're close enough at the moment, and you've got to think about, like we already mentioned, the track is still quite green. Still early doors, track will heat up. So I think we could see 4s, and I think 3s might be too much of an ask. I mean, I think me hoping the 106s earlier on in the comms might be a little bit too what's the word? Can't think of the word off the top of my head. I think that won't happen, unfortunately, with the 106s. But I think the 104s. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, looking at the 3 minutes left, Greenhorn. I mean, who do you think is going to take pole here? I mean, it's fans great. McLaren's doing well early doors, but I think there's still a few drivers who can really improve in the session.
Yeah, there's a couple of people that have obviously got to improve their laps. I still think that this top 8 is very, very close together. Even Silas is there in the 0.6s as well. I can see a pole I think a pole could be a 0.3 here, maybe even a 0.4 if they hook up the lap well enough. It's going to be a nice end to the quali though. There's also this top 9 are really, really close together, barely separated by a tenth each. So it's going to be a case of who can hook up the lap, who can keep their cool under the intense pressure of the Brazilian heat, and the drivers around them as well. You want to have that gap on the track. You don't want to get you want to invalidate especially, and you also don't want to get blocked as well. So they've got to think tactically of where they want to be on the track, but you also want to make sure that you've got to get a good lap in.
Exactly. Yeah, lots of things coming into play there. And Dan coming through to try and improve on his 108.5, but unfortunately he's 1.5 seconds up. So I think this might be time to come into the pits for him. I think I've been on board with him more than most the other drivers with a spin earlier on for him coming through turn 11. But let's get on board with our pole man. He's just on his out lap at the moment. We'll see whether we can get on board with him on his flying lap here. Just trying to heat up those tyres, trying to get as much heat in there, and trying to lay down some tarmac on the circuit for later on in the lap. But maybe Evil's still coming right. Is he going? I can't tell if he's going fast. Not sure. We'll have to wait and see. But I mean, I think it might be Itzvan who gets it on pole. I mean, maybe it's me hoping from last season, but we'll have to wait and see. Greenhorn, maybe you can take us through a lap with our current pole man.
No problem. Obviously, he's going to have the DRS all the way down the straight. 200 mile an hour minimum is what you look for going down the straight with DRS. It's going to be heavy braking zone down to turn 1. They want a 4th gear for this fan. Just slightly on the throttle. It's going to be up into 5th gear. It's going to ride out this close left-handed curb all the way through the corner. And it's going to be DRS once again coming down the straight towards the Descida del Lago of turn 4 and 5. Got 2 cars ahead, don't want to get blocked by them. Down into 6th gear for this fan. There's actually quite a high gear stake at that corner. But he keeps moving on anyway. Our pole man currently still with a 7.5, anyone behind also on laps during the last part of this qualifying session. He's up the hill though, and he's going to be back down the gears into 4th gear, slow on the throttle. He's got a little bit of a hold up in front of him, doesn't want to get held up during this lap. It's got to be his only chance to steal pole position, to keep that pole position that he's currently got. Comes near the end of sector 2 though, coming out of turn 11. He's got the Aston Martin ahead of him. He's going to be a little bit down on his time, heading towards the last 4 corners. Turn 12, turn 13, he's going to have DRS in about 200 metres time. Turn 14 now, and it's going to be DRS all the way down the straight, getting a slipstream from the Aston Martin ahead. Can this fan improve? Jumping in, see Gabor jumps on pole. Where's this fan going to go? Not enough to beat Gabor for the time being. It's Gabor in at the 0.3s, as I stated. I thought the 0.3s would be doable. ETA Evil couldn't finish off his lap. Fury also couldn't finish it off. Jacob is currently still ability to go on another lap. Elite Risks is down his lap, and he's not able to improve on his lap. But that is a fantastic lap from Gabor.
Yeah, great to have him. And Car Person coming around the final corner, 2/10 up on his lap. Can he throw cat amongst the pigeons? Almost does it with a 107.4. So he'll start with the best of second place. Can anyone match the top 2 here? Like you mentioned, Itzvan, unfortunately, I think got held up on that lap and won't be. Obviously, he'll start the best of P3. Also, we've got Fury. He's up on his time, but I don't think it's going to be enough to improve. He has up into P2, so Mercedes will start P2 and P3 here. Itzvan drops down to P4, and he'll be cursing himself after being stuck behind that Aston Martin. Who else have we got on a lap time coming through here? Jacob, the other McLaren. Let's see if he can beat his teammate here coming around the final 2 corners here at Brazil. Can he improve on 9th place? Oh no, he's coming to the pits actually. So he'll ruin that bit of commentary. Excuse me, he'll retire in the pit lane there. What about Hainan coming through? He'll also come into the pits. And Greenhorn, it seems like everyone wants to come into the pits and ruin my commentary. It looks like.
Yeah, it looks like no one was ready to improve that lap, so it looks like it's going to be in this first race of the WOR Tier 4 season. That's a fantastic lap though. But a full 1.5 tenths clear from Car Person behind, but it's a fantastic start though for the Silver Arrows. A 2-3 for Car Person and Fury. They will be happy with that. I'm sure Toto Wolff is on the radio saying, "Well done, boys. We're going to be starting 2-3 for the race." That is fantastic. But I have been told though, Oliver, it is going to be a wet race.
Oh, well, that throws a cat amongst pigeons, doesn't it?
Very, very. This throws the race completely into anyone's hands. You know, you could be starting P20, but if people cannot keep it clean, keep the car on the track in the wet, it can go very nasty for some people. But we've got to hope though turn 1 it's not too much carnage anyway as we look to head towards the race. But again, just want to say what a lap from Gabor.
Yeah, great lap time from him. We're just waiting for the guys to come round and retire their cars, but great lap, like you say, Greenhorn from the Alfa Romeo driver, and putting down a mantle early doors here in season 14 here at Brazil for round 1. But rain is inbound. Whether we have it a full wet race or it will dry later on, we'll have to wait and see. I think luckily Greenhorn turn 1, there isn't it's not a massive run down to turn 1, so hopefully we won't see too much carnage, but hopefully we see everyone making it through turn 1, 2 and 3. It is tricky in the dry, let alone the rain here at Brazil. But we'll have a quick rundown of the grid before we get moving to the next part of the stream. It is Gabor who puts it on pole with a 107.3, with Carl-Person in second and Fury running at the top 3. Itzvan will start in P4, Justin in P5, Adam 6th, Evil in 7th, Dan in 8th, Jacob in 9th, and Elite running off the top 10. Starting in 11th will be Martins, Hayden in 12th, Silas in 13th, Pepe Gamer in 14th, Amaze 15th, Lime Violet in 16th, LGS in 17th, Chelsea Fan in 18th, VRT Mitsui in 19th, and the other Dan staying down in 20th. And that, well, the split between first and 20th, Greenhorn with 1.2 seconds, which is in F1 terms barely anything.
Yeah, that's not a lot of a gap anyway. That is to say the least. Usually, it's bigger than that, especially for some weeks. But we know WR was going to be close. It's always they always get the tiers right, as you say. They're usually quite competitive with each other. But as I said, it was a wet race. It looks to be dry. I was told by the driver it was a wet race, so hopefully, in the middle of the race, it might be getting wetter. But yeah, I was told it was going to be a wet race, but I'm sorry to disappoint you all.
No, it's all good. It could rain midway through the race, but the drivers do like to lie to us sometimes and try and put us off here in the comms box. But strategy wise, coming into this race, obviously it'll be a one stop, and the guys will. What is it? I think is it soft to medium, if I'm right in thinking, Greenhorn.
Most likely it'll be a hard medium or a medium hard, whatever the driver usually chooses. Softs is usually really picked when a safety car comes out in like a last couple of laps, because the softs in this game are diabolical to say the least.
Yeah, I think so. But timer has started. We'll get going very shortly. But quickly, Greenhorn, who are you predicting for the win?
Looking at the grid, I can see ETA Evil. I don't know why. I think he's got the pace. I've seen it in quality. I've seen glimpses of him, taking purple sectors during the start. So I think he's going to be the man to take the win.
Very, very nice. I'll go with Gabor, our pole man for the first race of the season. We won't have a formation lap, so we'll get straight into it here in Brazil. Here we go. The lights are coming on now. That's 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here in Brazil. It's lights out and away we go. A bit of a delayed start. What about how is the start for Gabor? Looks to be a good one from here, but the Mercedes of Carpezan up the inside coming into turn 1. He had a great start, the Mercedes. He threw into the lead already before they even get to turn 1. But look out for the Alfa around the outside. They have the inside for turn number 3. The other Mercedes hanging around in the background as well, through down towards turn number 4 they go. Will not have DRS, but the slipstream obviously will be in full force, but just about staying ahead is Carpezan coming into turn 4. The Alfa trying to go past him, left, right instead of here. The other Mercedes directly behind him. And then you've got Itzvan not far behind in 4th place, but through they go to end the first sector here. It's Carpezan leading us away, and Gabor making a mistake through turn number 7 and 8 there. And look at the other Mercedes around the outside coming through turn number 9. Doesn't have the grip though there, Greenhorn. And what a start from Carpezan.
Yeah, what a start from Carpezan there. I actually watched him on the start. Gabor, too much wheel spin on the start. He couldn't get the traction down early enough, and Carpezan got a much better on the traction, and he got right past in at turn 1. As I said, turn 1 is a usual prime dive bomb position. We see midfield pack all moving around there, but yeah, that was a fantastic start from Carpezan. Obviously Fury was trying to get past as well to make it a 1-2 with the silver arrows, but Gabor was still able to hold on for that time being. As you see though, Carpezan did burn quite a lot of his battery there to get ahead of Gabor and stay ahead of Gabor, so it might be that Gabor runs a bit more straight line speed than Carpezan as you go towards the Cena de Lago once again, but Carpezan leads the way on lap 2.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that ERS usage might come into play later on in this Grand Prix. Lap 2 of 36. Looking at the winners and losers on the first lap here. Great moves by Elite and Martins there in 6 and 7. Both drivers up 4 places. And then you've got a few guys up 3 places. Amazed Chelsea fan, and Dan in the Ferrari Dan, we'll call him, in this race, up 3 places as well. So a mixed start from some of these drivers, but they're starting to get into the groove of things now. Greenhorn, they've got to relax now. I think there's so much stress about this first race of the season. Manic start as always here at Brazil. They just need to get into the groove of things, I think.
Yeah, you've just got to have a couple of laps, just lay off a bit, don't go for anything, get the car into a nice rhythm and just kind of start to pick your way through the field if you're not at the front already. I would say Levy Martins, though, is wanting to get moves done early as he goes through on elite risks, heading towards the last corner, heading towards turn 1 again. That was nice from Levy Martins getting that done before the line even came. As you can see, though, the DRS train has come really, really big here, going all the way down to P17 of Dan's screen. So as you can see, this track is all about just sticking with the man in front of you, the DRS. If you've got a bit more straight line speed, you can maybe go for it, as someone in front may not have as much as you. You can see the middle, though, BRT Justin as well. What a start he had to jump up some places as well. Jacob B didn't get good off the line, he's down at the P8, and Levy Martins and FCT Adam are getting moves done early and jumping up for the Alpine team.
Yeah, exactly. A bit of a gap forming now between Adam and Itzvan in 4th and 5th, so Adam's got to be careful he doesn't drop outside that DRS zone in the early stages of this Grand Prix, because like you mentioned, there's just a huge train behind him. But both the Alpine boys have had a fairly good start. More so, Martin's obviously up 5 places compared to Adam's 1 place, but it's still very manic in the midfield. Like you mentioned, pretty much glued together for all the way down until you get to Line Violet down in 19th and Mitsui in 20th. But whether we see any moves coming up the hill now, there's so much action happening, we'll try and stay on board with everything. Maybe with the lead, actually. Gabor is side by side with our race leader car pistons across the line. Fastest lap as well. He's down the inside. He's made that move stick. Great move. Unfortunately, a horrible camera angle, but he's made that move stick through turn 1. And now, can Carpus get him back, coming down towards turn number 4? I don't know whether he does have DRS, and Gabor goes to the inside, goes back onto the racing line. Can Carpus get close enough into the braking zone? No, he can't. And Gabor takes the lead back of the Grand Prix, but he's around. He's hit the wall. He's lost the front left of that car, and Gabor is out of this Grand Prix. Lost traction coming through turn 4, Greenhorn, and that is a poleman out of the Grand Prix.
So unfortunate for Gabor. He didn't get on the traction nicely at all. I think he's just in that one gear too low for himself, trying to get a better race than the car person, and it looks like the pressure that car person applied going into the corner has worked to perfection for the man. It's currently a silver hours 1-2. This is fantastic. It's the exact situation that they wanted. This moves Isfan, though, back into the podium places as well. Levy Martins actually did get past FCT Adam as well, coming through turn 1 whilst car person and Gabor were battling, but now we've got a safety car here on lap 4. I don't think there'll be any pitters, to be honest. It's a bit too early for any sort of strategy change, but if there is, I'm sure there's going to be some mayhem.
Yeah, I thought maybe someone down who made a mistake earlier on, maybe a front wing thing, but it looks like everyone's got their full front wing. But this will allow Line Violet and Mitsui back on the train, it looks like, and I don't think, like you mentioned, no one deciding to come into the pits early doors here. We haven't had a chance to actually look at the tyre strategy in the early stages. It looks like it's a mainly hard grid. I take that back. LSG's come into the pit down in 19th place, but you've got Martins, Amazed, and Chelsea Fan all on the mediums, while everyone else on the hard compound tyres. And maybe holding out till we get the rain potentially later on. We're not sure. Unfortunately, we don't get that from Codemasters. That would be great, wouldn't it, if we could have that data, but we will not have that. But Greenhorn, we have a manic first 4 laps, and we can, I guess, finally we can relax for a second, have a sip of water, and wait till we get going once again.
Yeah, we can finally just sit back, pick up where we left off, luckily. Because obviously Silver Hour's got a bit of work to do. They've got to try and keep everyone behind. We can maybe see, as you said, a bit of team orders here. Maybe Fury going to play a bit of hold up for a car person, let him break away a little bit on this restart. But obviously, I have to say, Levy Martins, one of the only people on mediums in the top 10 other than TMSMAs, but he could maybe go for something on the restart. I would say his tyres will still be really fresh and a lot better than the hards at this stage. Obviously, come 10 laps time, the hards are going to be in a much better window, but I think early on, Levy Martins may try and push for the lead here and try and jump up onto the top step early on, just so that when the strategy does come to pit for the hard tyre, he doesn't have to try and defend too much from the guys who will be in the mediums behind him.
Yeah, exactly. Try and utilise those tyres while he can. Levy Martin's in fourth place. He's got his teammate there as well. So I think they might. Well, we don't know unfortunately, but they could work together. And Elite could act as a. Sorry, Adam could act as a rear gunner to the rest of the guys behind him on those hard tyres. But another pit stop for LS and Mitchell. I think they may maybe potentially going on using the required tyres in a quick pit stop, and then they'd be able to go to hards, because they could, those hards 30 laps, they can get to the end. They won't be very nice, but they can get to the end of the race.
Yeah, no, they can. You can really see the hards right now. Like, they probably could, but obviously you've got to have that mandatory pit stop, so they're going to see possibly the mediums come into play. But as said by the drivers, the wet was supposed to come at some point, so maybe, these hard drivers might actually be in a better window for the rain to come, so they can just pit right onto the intermediates when the rain does hit, if it does hit at all. That is, it looks a bit sunny there now for the rain to hit, to be honest, but maybe in a couple of laps time these grey clouds might start tumbling over the top of Interlagos, so we can see some movement from the weather.
Yeah, Brazil has its almost its own microclimate like at Spa as well, but the safety car will be in at the end of lap number 6. We'll get racing very shortly, and it will be both the Silver Arrows. Leading us away, Carperson and Fury. When will Carperson go? How long does he leave it until he puts his foot down to restart this Grand Prix here at Brazil for season number 14, round 1 of Tier 4? Unfortunately, it won't let me go on board with. We've got a horrible camera angle for one reason or another, so we'll stay on board with the broadcast cam. But Carperson weaving away, trying to slow everybody down, almost side by side with the Mercedes, and makes a 5-second penalty for a collision in the background. But Carperson goes to start lap number 7, and in the background, cars are weaving away, trying to go down the inside. I think it was a Red Bull in the background that could have been dark, and there's someone around as well. I think that's a McLaren who's around. It's Jacob who's around, unfortunately, in the early stages. But Carperson's still holding the lead. But in the background, you've got Levy Martins side by side with Itzvan coming down towards turn number 4. Can he get on the brakes? Yes, he can. Oh, he almost hit the back of the Mercedes of Fury there. Luckily, the car stops in time. But again, like we mentioned, Greenhorn, Martins needed a good start, and he's actually done that to a T.
As I said, Levi Martins going for it on the restart, and he got the move done. Obviously now into the podium places we're taking this fan, but that was unbelievable what I've seen in the midfield. Danko got a fantastic restart. He got by TMS Amaze, he got by 2 cars, and he came up the inside of Jacob, and there was no space for him at all. He put his nose where it didn't belong, and that spun Jacob round. So that was really unfortunate for Jacob to be spun out like that, but I'm sure he can try and make a little comeback here, try and get back into this race as fast as he can, because it was unfortunate for him to be spun around like that.
Hopefully he's got his own gaggle of cars from 16 down to 19, so hopefully we'll see some action there. But back up the front, we've got Itzvan trying to get back at Martins, but in the background you've got, is that Adam? And that is, yeah, Adam and Justin side by side coming through turn 1 and turn 2, and Adam just about holding off Justin there. They're both in the same tyre strategy, but you can see Aston Martin pushing the Alpine through that corner. They're side by side. He's almost been squeezed on the grass. He has to switch back to the racing line. Can he go around the outside of 4? No, he can't. He's not close enough. No DRS just yet here in Brazil, but great racing from both of those. But Justin's got to be careful not to be pushed onto the grass there, Greenhorn.
Yeah, just trying to get by, couldn't get past the moving brick wall of Adam. He defended really well there, taking the inside line, not giving Justin any time. See Danko now starting to close up behind BRT. Justin gave him a little nudge in the back there just to let him know he was there. But I think it's got to be time though for Levi Martins to try and get a move on here on those mediums. Obviously the hards will slowly become better than the mediums. I think for right now he's got to try and get past Fury as fast as he can, and he's got to try and catch back up the Carperson and try and pull a gap to the 2 cars that will be behind him if he does take the lead of this race. But Carperson just holding his cool at the front for the now, so he's got a little bit of a protection behind him of his teammate, so we can just kind of use him as his backboard now, and just hopefully trust him that he can defend enough against Levi Martins and to keep himself in the lead.
Yeah, what's very interesting though, Levi Martins has got half the ERS usage compared to the top 2 here, so he's really put his foot down to try and catch up, and you can see that by his early moves here after the safety car restart. But he's really on a charge. He's trying to utilise those medium tyres. More yellow flag in sector number 1. I think that might be Dan Spring who's made a mistake coming through turn 3, and it is. He drops down to looks like last place, unfortunately, for the Ferrari man here in Brazil. But further back, Justin still can't get through. But in the background, you've got the other Dan trying to get through. Well, he's actually got past Justin in all that frantic action and he moves up into P7 now. So Justin loses a place, and now it's Dan's turn to try and attack Adam.
Yeah, here we go. Finally, Justin did actually. Danko did really well to get past Justin. Actually, but Justin didn't give him a lot of room on the outside, and he came to the next corner. He had the inside line, so he knew if he stayed there, he got by, and he did. He held it out. He was brave enough to hold it there. I don't know if he picked up a warning from actually going off the track at turn 6, but he got away with it, and he's actually passed and moved himself up into P7. So that's very good from Danko. Although he did take out Jacob, so maybe a little penalty coming his way of the stewards, but we can wait and see for the stewards report after the race. But see the race evolving though. See Levi Martin's struggling to keep up with Fury and Car Person. Obviously this DRS train really isn't helping him right now, I'll say, on those medium tyres. A pit stop will be coming for him in the next, 6 or 7 laps, especially after that safety car. So he'll be able to pit a bit later, Levi Martin's, but he's got to remember that all these people on the hards will be in a much, much later pit stop than him.
Exactly, yeah, it's something for him to consider. We've got our first time penalty for Chelsea fan down in 14th place, the 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. But look at that, Silas and Amaze side by side as they come through turn number 9 here. Very difficult move to make through there, but it looks like Silas has managed to make that move stick, or maybe that was Amaze coming through, I'm not sure. But also in the background, the other Haas and AlphaTauri side by side of Evil and Pepe Gaming. Pepe Gaming in the back of this humongous train that we've got here at Brazil, but can't make his way through just yet. Trying to move, coming into turn 4 earlier on, but we'll stay on board with the guys in 11th and 12th to come through turn 14 for the 10th time. Still not close enough. I think it might be the AlphaTauris who are closer coming through here. Can Evil get one up on his teammate here as they come across the line? I don't think they're close enough as they come through. Oh, and there's contact actually between Justin. And who is that? Justin, I'm not someone else, I think, Green. I didn't see if you saw what happened there, coming through turn 1 and turn 2.
Yeah, I just seen it there. The 12 AlphaTauris were actually really close together. I think the Haas might have just put a bit too much pressure, and one of them actually locked on, went straight on, and he might have collided as well from the Haas's behind. So I don't actually know what actually happened, to be honest. But the AlphaTauris obviously tussling away here, the two teammates, not wanting to let anyone have. It's currently got the 8-9 for the AlphaTauris and the 10-11 for the Haas's behind them. We've got to see Pepe Gamer through on his teammate though. We've seen him just playing a little bit of the team game here to let him by and let him attack these drivers. Obviously, Constructors Championship still matters in WOR. We see these two drivers try and get past Evil and Amaze. Obviously, Amaze, does have that penalty, which he also might be getting removed, but we never know. We've got to drive like he's still got it. So they're going to have DRS once more. Going towards turn 14. Oh, that's off! Goes FRA Silas before the last corner even came. Shocker from FRA Silas. Down at the 16th, he goes behind Jacob E. And that is very, very disappointing for Silas.
But back up the top of the grid, it is Fury up the inside. Past his teammate, takes the lead of the Grand Prix here in Brazil. We'll get back to the other action. I'm sure we'll talk about the Haas and the AlphaTauris later on. But back to the front, Fury takes the lead. What about Martins? Can he get by? Car Person here, he's on the fresher tyres, on the medium compound tyre, but again, not close enough here. Maybe some team communication between the top two here. Maybe Fury feels he's quicker at this stage of the race and he's Car Person's let him through at this point in the Grand Prix, but both still staying ahead of Martins, which is crucial. But Silas has retired, unfortunately, in the pit lane, and we're down to 18 drivers. Here's Line Violet gets a new fast lap of the race, but unfortunately, there Greenhorn Silas out the Grand Prix, and like I said, I don't know if he saw damage to that car, or maybe just retiring after having a bad start to the Grand Prix.
I think he was more just out of the bad start, so spinning, he felt as though he wouldn't be able to make the comeback back into the race. Which is unfortunate for Silas. He was on a pretty good race. Also, the move on the outside was beautiful to watch as well. So, unfortunate for Silas. Next week could be his week, hopefully, in USA. But we'll see here, though, Fury was the new leader of the race for one of the first times in this race. Car Person's led almost every lap. But now his new teammate leads the way. Obviously, Levi, as I said, his plan didn't come, and he still sat in third. He's going to get attacked from Misfan now. Behind him is going to also have the hard tyres. They're going to be in a better window than the mediums come the next maybe lap or two, and he's going to have elite risks and SCT Adam to deal with as well. But in the midfield, you actually missed it. The 12 AlphaTauris were battling like crazy coming through the Cida del Lago, and Evil got past Amazed once more up the inside. He did push his teammate off the track actually. A bit personal. Didn't give him a lot of room around the outside, so this could be a heated little battle for the rest of the season between these two.
Yeah, it looks like not working too much together, but Pepe Gamer trying to get past the AlphaTauri. Up the inside he goes through turn number 8. Oh, there's contact between both the drivers. And I don't think that was the cleanest move for Pepe Gamer through there, and he'll stay behind him, but he's going to have to go around the outside. Oh, switches back towards the inside, coming through turn 10 here. The AlphaTauri trying his best to squeeze him out, but you have the inside of the next part of the corner. Great racing from the two of them through this section of the circuit. And Amaze just about staying ahead, but the problem with this Greenhorn, all his battling is causing his teammate to run away with things.
Yeah, as you see here, the LGS now going to try and get past on the straight. CS fan though, going to get through, Levi Martins up the inside into turn 1. This fan is through before the next corner comes, and that is a fantastic move from the McLaren man. Highest placed McLaren currently. See Pepe Gamer get past Team SMA, come to the corner as well. Up the inside he goes, Pepe Gamer, and he's through already. Oh, there's a tap in the back from Team SMA. He's an LGS. That was not great at all. LGS thought he had a little bit more room on the inside, and May shut the door on him, and through goes Jacob E, Hayden Cass, Chelsea fan, and Pepe Gamer now up into P9. What a collision of events there, Oliver.
Yeah, excuse me, I think the stewards might be busy later on in this Grand Prix, as LGS can't tell if he's got damage or not. He's got a bit slow, but Amaze just got passed through as well. But it's frantic action on lap 14. We had the battle in the front, in the middle, and at the back, all on the same lap there. But It's Fan gets past Levi Martins, and this could be the point, Greenhorn, where those mediums starting to fall off the cliff here, starting to struggle on lap 13 to lap 14. So we could see a pit stop from Levi Martins very shortly. We'll stay on board with the top guys here. He's going to stay out for one more lap, it looks like. But let's get back on board. Where was that? Well, actually, we're going to stay on board with Danko as he comes through. He's up the inside. Ooh, very late move, trying to get past Adam, but Adam being a blockade that he needs to be to his teammate, not allowing him very many drivers through at all in the early stages of this Grand Prix. But it's still Fury leading the way with Carperson in second and It's Fan in P3 as we close in on the halfway stage of this Grand Prix. It's been a frantic race so far, and hopefully it's as frantic in the second half of this Grand Prix. But Greenhorn, Fury still leading away as Justin new fastest lap of the race, but Fury, I think he's controlling the race at the moment, but he can't rest on his laurels whatsoever, because any mistake from him and a load of guys just go straight past him.
Yeah, also the pressure is on every single lap for whoever leads this race. I can kind of see though, It's Fan Tomasi is coming back into this race, obviously not getting a great start from where he was. He obviously had P3 short laps ago. Levi Martins was ahead of him, but obviously Martins' tyres now starting to drop off. As I said, lap 16 is going to come up, and will we see Martins going to be pulling to the pits now or not? He's going to stay out once more on those medium tyres. He was actually getting attacked from FCT Adam the other lap there, but he managed to defend them off already. His tyres will definitely be in the worst state on the track right now, but Carperson is very close to his teammate right now. I think he might go for it, but probably not. He's going to have DRS and just keep a nice 1-2 for the Silver Arrows, heading towards the Descida del Lago. And SCT Adam, actually, you missed it in the midfield. Elite Risk was in P5. They dropped 2 positions because SCT Adam actually sent it on Elite Risk and gave him a little half spin. Elite Risk lost 2 positions from that. I actually clipped this to make sure it was correct. And yeah, Adam did in fact leave him 0 space on the inside and cut Elite Risk completely off and gave him a little half spin. He's now down at the P7.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate. It could be Stewards inquiring. I think Stewards might be very busy after this Grand Prix. And that's just our tier, Greenhorn, let alone the other tiers that have been racing this week. But lap 16 of 36 here in Brazil. It's still Fury, like I mentioned, in the lead of the Grand Prix. And we've got that trains now formed between first down to 7th. So you could argue anyone in the top 7 could win this. But we've got a yellow flag. I think that's Mitri, who's off. And that has caused a full course yellow here in... he's lost his front wing, the Ferrari. But will that cause a few pit stops? Yes, it has. It's Fan in the pits, as is Fury. But it looks like a few guys, I think they may have missed that Greenhorn, and they've unfortunately gone past the pit lane and couldn't pit. So Carperson definitely one of them, but Fury pulls into the pits, and we'll see what strategy they go on to now.
Yeah, I think it's now time. That couldn't have played any better for Levi Martins though. Perfect pit stop for him. The mediums were slowly dying out, and that couldn't have came any better. But I've just realised though, he's went back onto mediums. Has Levi Martins, so I'm a bit confused on why he's done that. So you've got to change tyre compounds at least once in the race, so he's not going to have his mandatory pit stop done. So it's a bit confusing on why he's done this medium strategy, maybe hoping for a late safety car so that he can pit again for the softs. But you know, that is quite a confusing moment there for Levi Martins. Also the better chance to pit onto the hard, and he didn't do it. But this is great for Fury and also great for Isfan, who could be jumping into the 1-2 position here, as Carperson is probably going to maybe come into the pits in the next 3 laps or so. We've got to try to pull a gap to FCT Adam, and also Hayne and Cass also staying out on the hard tyres right now as well. See, Midway is actually just going to retire in the pits as well for the time he's had enough of his race as well. Fury obviously already had his pit stop in P4. He's definitely looking to be the first race winner of this Tier 4 season.
Yeah, unfortunately, Pepe's actually got damage to his front wing. I didn't see what happened there. I saw something happen between himself and Evil, but he's got no front wing on that Haas car. There's plenty of support in the YouTube chat for Pepe, but unfortunately he's going to have to pit here on those medium tyres. He's got LGS on soft tyres, actually. He's going to have to pit again. But yeah, we don't know whether we're going to have rain later on. That could be something to consider as we progress through this race. But everyone's a bit mixed up at the moment, Greenhorn, with the strategies. Some people stayed out, some people pitted early, some people gone onto the wrong tyre as well. But we could have rain right at the end. Maybe that's why Levi Martin has done that. Maybe the guys on the hard tyres actually sticking out until the rain potentially at the end of this Grand Prix. Maybe. We just don't know, unfortunately. But it is still Carperson leading the grey with Adam in second and Hayden a little bit way back, 11 seconds behind. I believe Hayden was in that midfield pack earlier on in the Grand Prix. But keep an eye on the gap between Hayden and Fury. It's currently 3 seconds. That should come down quite quickly between those two drivers. But in the background, it's looking Justin and Jacob are very close on circuit as well. We've got a little bit of a lull at the moment, Greenhorn, as we do sometimes in these races. But I think strategy really playing a key role in this race as always.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, everyone behind the front 3 have had a stop, though. Obviously, Levi Martin's not changing his tyre because he's going to have to pit at some point again. But everyone behind Carperson, FT Adam, and Hayden Cass have all had their pit stops. So we could maybe see those 3 really miss out on some good points. You see Isfan, though, close up right behind Fury. See Jacob actually go for it around the outside of BRT Justin, and through he goes up into P10 and back into the points after that unfortunate takeout we had against the Alpine driver. I can't remember who it was, but Jacob now back into the points, making that redemption drive. As he said, we see BRT Justin though make go for it down the inside into the Cedar de Lago. He's going to hold out once more and follow the McLaren around the track, still sitting in 10th and 11th. Levi Martins, though, obviously a man still having to pit. He might be trying to hopefully pray there's going to be a safety car, because he'll be missing out on massive points here if he has to pit stop once again. Also, Isfan Tomasi now maybe trying to get past Fury, because realistically, if Isfan can get past Fury, he'll be looking to take the lead of the race once Carperson, SCT, Adam, and Hayden and Cass have all pit, or he could be provisional P1 once they've all had their original pit stop. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out later on in this race, though.
Yeah, exactly. There's a few names, I think, who could still have the win in their hands. And Isfan actually makes a mistake, breaks too late, and has to jump across the Astra. Oh, he got a penalty to add to his troubles there. I think he could have got round there. Maybe there was a car behind him. I don't think, no, the guys behind him were too far back. But Martins is actually going to lose a place to Danko here. Up the inside he goes. And we've not spoken too much about Danko. He's been here and there, but he gets past Levi Martins here, and he moves himself up to P6 now, and he's putting his hat in the ring for maybe the win, or at least a podium this evening here at Brazil. But plenty of action happening on circuit. And just a note, in a lap and a half, Fury's closed now 2 seconds to Hayden. So Hayden struggling now on those hard tyres compared to Fury's medium tyres, and we should see a move from Fury relatively easily, Greenhorn, coming onto the pit straight.
Yeah, you can see here Levi, though, obviously he's going to want to try and get past Danko as fast as he can. But finally we see, though, Carperson is into the pits along with FCT Adam. I'm going to guess Hayden's going to follow those guys in, and I am correct. Here comes Cade, here comes Hayden, should I say, and that's going to leave Isfan and Fury into the lead of this race. Carperson losing a lot of time to these guys ahead. He's dropping down all the way. It looks like he's going to be into P7 for Carperson, maybe even P6 actually. Philippe Riz can overtake him here, and yes, P6 for Carperson after not getting to pit under that virtual safety car, and that's going to cost him big time. But his teammate leading the race with Isfan behind, who's picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple track limit exceeding. So this is looking like a very likely Fury first win here.
Yeah, but don't count your chickens before they hatch, Greenhorn, because you know as much as I do how league racing can change in an instant. Still lap 21 of 36 here in Sao Paulo for round 1 of Tier 4 of Season 14 here. And it's fun pushing Fury through this middle sector here. A little bit slow coming out of 11, but he got a great chance to take the lead here of the Grand Prix. We'll stay on board with the McLaren driver as he comes up towards the start-finish line to start lap number 22. He's closing that gap millimetre by millimetre. Through he goes. He's going to have to go... Well, you go up the short way. It looks like up the inside he goes. He puts the car there, late on the brakes as he can. He's up the inside, past Mercedes. Can Fury do anything to challenge him back? Coming through down towards turn number 4. The McLaren gets a good exit, but I think Mercedes got a better exit coming down towards turn 4. They go. You have to go around the long way. Can they go side by side in the braking zone? And he's passed them already before they even get to the braking zone. Great dueling from these drivers.
Great driving there from Fury and Isfan. Isfan just dropping back behind Fury after getting through at turn 1. I think he didn't play his cards right. I think he should have waited for that straight in towards the Ciro de Lago and used the DRS again to get by Fury. Obviously, we know the double DRS is very strong around that first sector, so maybe he's going to think in his head for this next time he goes for it, maybe to really be patient with his move and not go for it into turn 1 as usual and just trying to hold out and get by him with that second DRS. But maybe Isfan doesn't have enough ERS compared to Fury, or maybe he doesn't have enough straight line speed compared to Fury, and that's why he maybe wants to get past here as they can. But see behind us now though, Danko up into the podium places. He's going to be fighting for the win here. He's virtually 6 tenths from Isfan, and that's going to put him to provisional P2 of Isfan's penalty there. That is perfect situation here for Danko Satila, a man we haven't really heard a lot about this race, but making a name for himself early on in the season.
Exactly, but in the background, car person gets by Elite coming through turn 1 and turn 2, and he's secured that move. But I don't think any of the top 3 are going to challenge just yet on this lap. I think it's for maybe trying to claw back some of the ERS usage, because they're both on low teens coming into that corner. What about Danko? Same, they're all very similar ERS usage, while Levi Martin's getting even worse, while car person, they're all struggling with the ERS, minus actually Elite, who's on 60-odd%. So they're it's a mixed bag when it comes to the ERS usage, but the top 3 neck and neck as they come through turn 9 here. Danko could definitely have a win on the cars. I think the only thing going against them at the moment, Greenhorn, is the fact they've done 4 laps more on the tyres compared to Adam and Carpus, which could count against them at the end of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, it could be very crucial towards the end of the Grand Prix. The car person's going to have 4 lap earlier tyres in the 2. But see, FCT Adam though actually losing the car in the middle sector. He's going to drop back to P9 already with that penalty. It's going to be costly of him with those points. Obviously, Danko closing up to Isfan, and Isfan closing up to Fury, and Fury still leading the race. His front 3 have broke away from everyone behind. It's going to be a case of who can keep ahead and who is going to stay ahead until we cross that line for one final time. Fury is still leading the way though towards Ciro de Lago, and Isfan still tucking in behind Danko as well, closer than he's ever been to this front 3. Not a lot of movement anywhere else right now. We currently sit here waiting to see what's going to happen between these drivers.
Yeah. Oh, we're migrating hosts. That's not very good. Hopefully, Greenhorn, you're still there. We've lost Greenhorn, unfortunately. Hopefully, he can get back in the chat, in the comms box shortly. But we're still going, which is the important thing here on the main broadcast. Excuse me. But it's still top 3 neck and neck, and is it that gap between 3rd and 4th now increasing to over 2 seconds between Danko and Levi Martins in 3rd and 4th. But can it try and get through here? I don't think he can just yet as he comes through to start lap 25, but he's closer than he's ever been coming through turn 1 and turn 2. Can he make the move through towards turn number 4? Here, just it looks like Greenhorn's game crashed, unfortunately, so hopefully we'll get him back very shortly in this race. But top 3 just chilling out for a second, so we'll have a look at everybody else. Everyone else a little bit spaced out at the moment. I say that though, Justin has his own little train forming with Adam, Evil and Hainan all fighting away for the last couple of points playing positions, but in the back, can Hainan get through here? No, he can't, but whoa, Adam up the inside, he goes, what a late move from him, but does not make that move stick on Justin, unfortunately. But he'll try maybe coming through turn 6, 7 and 8 here, not close enough. He almost, there we go, late lunge up the inside, a little bit of contact between the Alpine and the Aston Martin. Around they go. You have to go the long way through turn number 9. There we go, got the words out eventually, but unfortunately Aston Martin still staying ahead of the Alpine. Through they go for the 25th time through this complex of corners. 11 and 12 they go, and back onto our long pit straight they go. So we'll get back on board with the race leader. This fan again, close, but not close enough just yet. But this could be his chance here. DRS is wide open. Can he get revenge on Fury coming into turn number 4? No, he can't. Again, not close enough. We'll get back on board with the other fight we've got on our hands with Justin and Adam. But Adam still can't make his way through on lap 26. We've got 10 laps to go here in Brazil. What a race we've had so far, but there's still plenty more action to come in this race. But let's look at the tyres once again here. And we've got a few penalties like we mentioned already in this race for Itzvan, Chelsea fan and Adam. They're a mix of corner cutting and speeding in the pit lane. So it's a mixed bag here, but they're still racing away, still racing hard, which is great to see. And they could be maybe be able to remove those penalties later on in this race. But Greenhorn's joined back into the session. Hopefully we'll get him back in the comments box very shortly, so I can have my voice can have a bit of a respite here. But it's fun again, close, but no cigar just yet. Coming through turn 3 they go. He's just not close enough on the exit. I think this time around he'll stay behind Fury. I've got more yellow flags, and that is LGS making a mistake. But Adam finally gets past Justin, and Pepe gets a penalty down in 16th as well. Jacob gets past Chelsea fan, and all this is all happening with the Aston Martin guys on this lap. But look at Justin, can have to go around the long way through turn 4, late on the brakes. Can he hang it around the outside? Gives plenty of space on the inside. The Alpine driver, they're still side by side coming the exit of turn 5, and it looks like the Alpine just about has enough straight line speed to get by the Alpine in that front direction. Great racing from these guys, but Hainan in the background and Evil waiting for a mistake, waiting to capitalise on any errors the guys ahead make to try and get through and try and get into the points. Both guys just outside in 11th and 12th at the moment. But here we go, Itzvan, closest he's ever been. It looks like he's going to move around the outside past the Mercedes, but the Mercedes pushes him as wide as he can. But still, McLaren just can't get by. Great racing from these two. Who will have DRS? It looks like it will be the McLaren who gets it, but he surely should get by this. I mean, he goes to the outside. Can he swing it around? Yes, he can. He takes the lead on lap 28 of this race. Danko nowhere near at the moment, unfortunately. And it looks like I've got my commentator partner back in the lobby. How are you, mate? Hopefully it's all working again now.
Technical issues, but I have returned luckily. I don't know what happened. My game just stopped and froze and kicked everything off. But we're back, people. We're fine. I'm back. I'll just continue on like I've never left anyway. It's fun. Now leads the race. Seems like I missed that. It's fun and Fury battled it out. Isfan got through early on towards Sino del Lago, and he got through once more. I would say only was that 8 laps left of the Grand Prix. You see the mediums though like to die out quite fast, but we're all on the same tyres also. But we've got car person behind. Can he maybe get a move on and try and catch these drivers also with 4 lap better tyres than they will have at the end of this race? No movement so far from anyone. Fury going to try and close off as much as he can to Isfan. Both of them on very, very low batteries for the time being. Also, Isfan is a little bit deep there on the corner exit. Fury's going to try and go round the outside. Early on, heading towards Sino del Lago, turns 4 and 5 is going to be round the outside for Fury, heading towards the corner. Can Isfan keep it there? Yes, he can. Inside he can. They bang wheels. Isfan has to save the car, and Fury goes Fury. Early on, before the next corner comes, Fury is ahead, and here comes Danko, rounding outside of Isfan now. Isfan's going to dive very deep into the corner and keeps ahead once more. What some fantastic battling from our front three here, Oliver.
Yeah, great racing, and I think Danko was in the wrong place at the wrong time there. It's so difficult to go around the outside of 6 and 7. It's mainly an inside move corner. So, but it's fun, like you said, making a mistake on the exit of 3. It's really cost him there, and that could, well, we'll have to wait and see. But all his battling, Greenhorn, is allowing car person to get back involved. We haven't really spoken about him since he pitted, but he's slowly building and slowly closing that gap to the front 3 end. Like you mentioned just a few seconds ago, he's got 4 lap fresher tyres. So right at the end of the Grand Prix, the last couple of laps, he could be flying through, but look, back towards the top two. It's fun up the inside he goes. A little bit of contact between both the drivers, but just about. Fury sits ahead of this of the McLaren. Great dueling from both of them. Those he's sweating buckets behind their steering wheels right now, but up the inside he goes. Can he make the move? Can he hold the lead? Yes, he can. Through up the inside through 4. Can he hold it through 5? The Mercedes trying to claw back at him through 5. He's almost glued to the back of that McLaren, glued to the back of the gearbox. Through they go, through 6. Can he make a move coming into turn number 8? No, he can't. Chelsea fan is retired in the background of all that. And now it's Danko's turn. But Fury, is it me or the clouds getting a little bit more grey?
Yeah, it's again though a full first sector of battle, and as you said though, car person, every single corner is gaining and gaining and gaining. He's gained 3/10 this lap alone to those guys ahead, and it seems like he's finally getting a move on and going to be challenging for this win very shortly. Levy Martins though obviously will be closing up, but he's still got to make that other pit stop. Obviously, we've now lost Chelsea fans, which is a bit unfortunate, but we'll follow on with this front 3 once again. Danko just can't seem to close up at all to Fury and Isfan down these straights. It seems he might run a bit higher wings than Fury and Isfan. Isfan seems to have broke a bit of a gap here to Fury this time towards turn 4 and 5 again. He's trying to burn all he's got, Fury, if you get past, but he's not going to happen. This time Isfan is going to lead the way very easily. Oh, what's happened here? There's a car in the middle of the track there. It was like the retired Aston Martin. A Chelsea fan might have almost gave Isfan some damage there, being right on the racing line. It was a bit dodgy from his Ghost, but he's got away with it luckily as we head up through the hill once again. Isfan still leads away from Fury, from Danko, and once again car person is still shutting that gap ever so slightly every single corner. Every time he turns the wheel, the gap gets smaller.
Exactly. There is now a 4-way fight for the race win, I think. Well, maybe not with Isfan's penalty, but he could get that removed later on. We'll have to wait and see, but at the moment it is a 4-way fight on screen, and that gap is coming down corner by corner between Danko and car person. But like the Garver said, we could have rain. The clouds are starting to come in now. The sunshine has stopped coming through the clouds, and we could have some late rain in this session. We'll have to wait and see. But car person closing the gap lap by lap, as I said, corner by corner. More another retirement. I think that's Pepe. Unfortunately, the fan favourite has retired on lap 32, and we're down to 14 drivers. But in the background, Levi Martins comes into the pit. This Ghost car, unfortunately, coming into the pit for a set of softs. So, like you mentioned earlier, Greenhorn, he had to pit, and unfortunately, his Ghost car's done it for him in this session. But the top 3 still neck and neck. But I mean, how does Danko play this now, Greenhorn? He's sort of sat in P3, but he's not be able to get through. I mean, does he just wait for a mistake, or does he have to grab the bull by the horns and just go for it?
I think what Danko's done here is actually very, very smart. You'll see it, his ERS is in the 50%. These two ahead are only in the 20s. If he waits, the next lap or 2, he's going to have much more ERS to burn and to battle with going down the straight for the extra straight line speed, for the extra, the better traction at the corners. But you've got to be careful for his plan though, because car person is now only 3/10 out of the DRS of Danko. So Danko's plan of saving ERS and sticking with the cars in front do we go for it near the end of the race might not work out as he intended if car person gets a move on, keeps it clean, and can start battling for this win along with these 3 other drivers.
Yeah, I guess the issue he's got, Greenhorn, he's got so little laps. We've got 3.5 laps left of this race. Can he close that gap quick enough to then challenge? He's not going to get one driver. He's got to get past 3 drivers to get the win here. So it's not an easy job to do here with so little laps left of this Grand Prix. It's still a 4-way fight, like you mentioned. Car person almost there. He's so close to get involved within that DRS zone, but it's still Isfan leading the way. Fury in second, Danko in third, and car person in fourth. Elite, unfortunately, dropping off the back of this queue, 10 seconds behind in P5. Jacob in sixth, Adam in seventh, and Hainan running off the top 8 here in Brazil. Everyone a little bit spaced out, minus the top 4 here. But look at car person, it's now 1.1 seconds. You'll have 3 racing laps to close that gap. Can he do it? We'll have to wait and see. Can Fury change this? Can even Danko do it? He's got to use that ERS, and he has. Look at the gap closing. He's going to go up the inside, maybe into the braking zone. No, he won't. He'll have to wait until they go down to turn 4 here, Greenhorn.
Yeah, once again, Isfan still leads the way for 1 lap longer than he already did. Fury is going to have a bit of bother behind him though, because Danko has finally used and all that ERS is saved up. Is he going to go down again inside into the side of the Lago? Yes, he is. Down the inside comes Danko Satila. 06, Jerome Fury 06. Fury going to go off the track. Try and keep it on the outside. He can't hold it yet. And Danko's through. At the next corner, that was a great move there from Danko Satila. He's up in a P2 and on for the provisional P1 with this man's penalty. That's a great move from Danko. And now he's just got to try and hold Fury and also hold Car Person now, because Car Person again is just closing and closing and closing. And can he keep this gap going down for the next 2 laps? You're going to have some DRS to deal with maybe this lap coming.
Exactly. Great move from Danko. He got his elbows out, didn't he, through forward. Fury had to go off the circuit slightly, but using that ERS usage to great effect here. But now he's in the below 10% club now with the other 2 drivers, while Carpus, again, they're all less than 10% ERS usage. They're really using it. The last gasp will have 2 racing laps left. It is now a 4-way fight for the race win. Carpus within DRS range of his teammate now, but look at Fury. He's close to Danko here. It's actually caused a little bit of a gap here, almost a second. Luckily, it's not for Danko. He's just about got enough, was close enough to get the DRS coming through down towards turn 4. But Carperson again closing that gap up as well. A little bit of a fight between Amazing, Line Violet as well, but we'll stay on board with the top 4 here. Lap and a half to go here, Greenhorn. Who's going to take the win? I just don't know. It's so close. It could be Carperson, it could be Fury, it could be Danko. I'm really not sure.
It all goes down to who can keep it on the track the longest. Obviously, Isvan, if it stays like this, he's not going to even finish on the podium with that 3 second he's got. It's going to be unfortunate for the McLaren driver, but the 2 Mercs have got to try and work together here so they can get themselves on for the 1-2 here. Oh, and off the track there goes Fury, picking up some of the polystyrene boards, and through goes Car Person on his teammate. Mistake from Fury. That has cost him the podium place, and that's going to drop him down at the P4. Unfortunate for him, coming out of one of the last corners of the last sector. We are now onto the last lap of the race, though, here of the Brazilian Tier 4 WR Grand Prix. It's Isfan Tamasi that leads the way. Danko Satila is 8.5 tenths behind. There's no ERS to use to try and get by. Car Person is out of the DRS of Danko Satila, and Fury is going to try and make up that place that he lost to his teammate there at the end as well. Over. How are we going to end this race?
Well, it's really come down to it now. Can anyone do anything different? Can Car Person, I think, is the man we need to concentrate on here. Can he get by Danko here? Danko doing everything in his power. He's got older tyres. He's got barely any ERS usage left on that car. He must be sweating buckets in that car with the pressure that's on his shoulders here. It's Van obviously still leading the race, but he has that penalty hanging over his head. It's still Danko in second, Car Person in third, and Fury in fourth. I don't think there's going to be any more moves coming through the last corner. It's Van still hold the lead. As long as they keep their foot down now, it should end all like this. Itzvan will go across the line first, but I think it will be Danko to win the Brazilian Grand Prix for round 1 of season 14 of Tier 4. It is Danko finishes the first, Car Person second, Fury third, and Itzvan drops all the way down to P4 in all that greenhorn. But the top 4, what a race we had this evening. I think everyone else is pretty spaced out, so we won't see any moves, but that was a fantastic race.
What a race that was. We had action every single lap. The leaders were battling away. The midfield was battling away. We had a couple of incidents that the stewards will obviously deal with after the race, but as we said, that was a fantastic season opener. Danko Zatila walking away with the win. The man started P8 on the grid, 7 positions up, takes the top step for the first race of this new WR Tier 4 season. Fantastic result, but what a start for the Mercs as well. The 2-3, that will easily put them top of the Constructors' Championship, and that'll give them a good lead compared to the other teams behind them.
Exactly, yeah. We've not talked too much about the team game yet. I'm sure we'll talk about it as the season progresses, but that's a great finish for the Merc boys there, and that is race over here in tier number 4. What a race that was. I think I need a lie down and a lozenge after that one, Greenhorn, because it was some race that was. But I think the game gave it to Danko there for driver of the day. Would you agree with that, or are you going to pick someone else for driver of the day?
Yeah, I think it should be Danko, or I think it should be Jacob B. I think after that incident he had, I was all the way down in P18. He's came back, he's got P6, he took 8 points. It's a very, very good comeback from the man in the McLaren. But again, you can't take the fame away from Danko. P8 to P1 after that race. There's always action. He's kept his nose clean, and look where it's paid off for him.
Yeah, I think I might have to agree with you with Danko, and I think if I pick Jacob, it could be slightly biased on the Welsh side of things. So I'll stick with Danko. I agree with you there for driver of the day. But we'll quickly run down the grid before we get going. Danko finishes in first, with Car Person in second, and Fury running off the top 10. Itzvan, who finished first, unfortunately with a penalty, drops him down to fourth place in all that action. Elite finishes fifth, Jacob in sixth, Haynen seventh, Adam in eighth, Evil ninth, and Levi Martins in 10th place. Dan Spreen in 11th, Justin 12th, Amaze 13th, Line Violet in 14th, and I think that's all we had finishing the Grand Prix. 14 drivers finished, with Pepe Gamer, Chelsea Fan, LGS, Mitri, Silas, and Gabor, our pole man, all unfortunately not finishing this Grand Prix. So I think there's still plenty more to come from those drivers who didn't finish, and also the guys who finished outside the top 10. But that was some race this evening. I mean, we'll try and get someone in to chat to us, Greenhorn, in the meantime. As long as you get one. Well, they might not decide to join us, but we'll try our best to get at least one of them in. I'll quickly pop them a message. But I mean, can you try and sum up that race? I mean, it was a fantastic start of the season. We all know that, but can you maybe, is there a way of summing that up? I'm not sure.
I think it's clear that we're going to have a good season. I think that's one way to sum it up. We're in for a long ride of a season. There's not going to be a champion anytime soon. Obviously, we thought Asfam was going to win. He picked up the 3 second. We thought Fury was going to win. We thought Carver was going to win, and it was Danko that came out on top. So this season could honestly go anywhere at this point. I don't think there's a way to really sum that race up into words other than we're in for a ride.
We are indeed, aren't we? It should be a fantastic season. Going ahead, let me just put a message quickly in the chat to see if anyone wants to chat to us. Join interview chat room. There we go. Hopefully, if not, we'll end the stream in a couple of minutes' time. But that was some race, and like I said, next week we'll get the calendar up. Excuse me, get the calendar up again while we finish the Grand Prix next week. United States, so we'll be at the Circuit of America for that one, in Azerbaijan after that. Unfortunately, I will not be here due to work commitments, so hopefully someone can take the mantle and join you, Greenhorn, next week for hopefully a fantastic race. We'll give it a couple more minutes, see if anyone wants to join us. I don't think they want to, unfortunately, Greenhorn. I think they're all tied out after that race.
Yeah, I think it's time. I think they've all just kind of had enough of I think they've just had enough of us, to be honest. I think it's just a personal problem for them, to be honest. But yeah, no, I think they all graced very well. Obviously, a bit unfortunate for. I think there's one person that I think is going to shine this season after a poor start. That's Gabor. You know, he bent early on. He had the pace. We've seen it. He took that pole position. He had the pace. He's just got to pick up that consistency a bit more, and I'm sure he can be a title challenger, as we've seen early on already.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's. I think you could argue maybe a silly mistake from Gabor, just putting the power down too early, and that's cost him. But I think he'll come back with vengeance next week, in the USA. But I don't think anyone wants to chat to us, unfortunately, Greenhorn. So we'll round off the stream there. Thank you everybody who tuned in this evening for tier number 4. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you, Greenhorn, for joining me in the comments box. It was an absolute pleasure to have you with me for the race tonight. And yeah, we'll be back next week at 8 o'clock for the US Grand Prix. Like I said, I won't be here, but Greenhorn will be here, hopefully with someone else taking the mantle in tier number 4. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next week.